This might be the last we see of the leaves. We're expecting Hurricane Sandy to come here. We're going to start getting really bad tomorrow on Monday and overnight Monday and on Tuesday. Lots of rain, lots of wind. And as you can see, the winds are picking up ahead of Hurricane Sandy. She's on her way. Getting a little bit worse out here. The gusts are something really strong. You can really feel it here throughout the house. An awning that used to be over here collapsed last night in the wind. I think it's better down there anyway. It won't get picked up anymore. And Geoffrey doesn't know what to think of this. As you can see around me, we have Hurricane Sandy. We don't quite have the hurricane force winds yet, but we do have winds at 38 miles an hour, sustained winds, with gusts about 58 miles an hour so far. And Hurricane Sandy expected to make landfall over southern New Jersey later this evening or tonight. You can expect those numbers to be bumped up significantly. About 15-20 minutes ago, actually at 1:13 to be exact, we lost electricity here at Huntington Station. That's kind of annoying. We're hoping that we would not lose electricity, but that's what happened. It could take a few days for the electricity to come back.
At 10 a.m. Monday, Hurricane Sandy is expected to begin to be felt on Long Island. Live is responding to power outages with our own crews and other workers we've brought in to assist. Storm conditions are expected to worsen throughout the day. Be prepared for the possibility of being without power for 1 to 7 to 10 days.
If you are calling to report a current power outage, press 1.
I'm Steve Scott. Here's the latest from the WCBS newsroom. Hurricane Sandy now around 250 miles southeast of New York City. We are still in the crosshairs of a record storm surge, 11 feet or more in some areas. The Holland and Hugh Carey Brooklyn Battery tunnels are closing right now as Sandy approaches. A 63-mile stretch of the Garden State Parkway is closed in both directions. Mayor Bloomberg is imploring people who've been told to evacuate to get out while they can. And the New York Stock Exchange will be closed again tomorrow, the first 2-day weather-related closure since 1988. Stay with us. We've got you covered.
And the storm is getting worse. Actually, in the last 15 minutes, it really picked up. And we're getting it right now. I have the camera at the phone. So, when we last reported, we had just lost power, we just lost electricity. It ended up being out about an hour and 50 minutes, to be exact, about 2 hours. And then again, just a few minutes ago, within 5 minutes or so, the power went back out. I was actually out here trying to tie down that awning when it came down. I heard it. Guess I didn't tie down that awning. I was out here trying to tie that down, and I heard a boom. Apparently it was a transformer. I looked, and the lights in the den were off. We've been without power for almost 2 hours, the second time. And, you know, I decided not to turn the light on that we have over here, which is this little thing, because I thought, you know, let's try to save the battery. Who knows how long we'll be without power. If it's days, hopefully this thing lasts, but I'm not really sure how long, so I figured that would be good to hold on to. The wind has just been incredible the last few hours. It's been crazy, and then hopefully they get to turn the lights back on. Looks like one of the neighbors up the street has some candles on in the window. This is what my house looks like. It almost looks like we have lights, but it's just that one battery power right here. There's a certain glow and a flickering glow in the sky, as if there's a fire somewhere. I don't know what it means. In the front yard, I don't know, I heard a big noise about 20 minutes ago or so. Right now it's 7 o'clock at night. About 20 minutes ago, maybe 15. And can't see it here either, but it looked like at least a portion of a tree fell down. And I think it hit the house, or at least the roof, along the way, because I heard a lot of thumps with that one gust. I kind of regret not going to some neighbor's house. It's scary being lonely here. I'm not kidding. I was getting really nervous before the storm. And then during the day today, I was like, oh, it's just kind of windy, it's rainy. You know, we've been through some rainstorms, it's just going to be a little bit more of that. But once the power went out, once it got dark outside, it's scary stuff. I mean, maybe I'm just being a little over dramatic, but I don't know. It's scary. You know, you hear all these sounds outside. I don't know what it is. Like, I just heard the house creak just the second. And, you know, I'm used to hearing the house creak, especially maybe in, you know, winter storms. You get the wind. But, you know, I'm listening to the radio, WCBS 880, and they're already reporting on a few confirmed fatalities in the area, including at least someone who was hit by a tree. They're not sure yet if he was outside or inside. Maybe the tree hit his house. And, you know, so suddenly my mind goes thinking, oh boy, you know, what if there are a lot of trees here. I just heard a press conference from the Connecticut governor, and he told people to stay away from trees. Well, there's only so much you can do when, unfortunately, there are trees all over the place. Earlier when I was looking outside, I kept seeing flashes of light. At first I thought it was lightning, but listening to the radio, apparently it's transformers that are blowing, or power lines, especially when the trees and branches are falling. But I can't wait for this to be over. I wish this wasn't happening in the middle of the night. I wish the height of the storm was happening like at noon, so you could at least see everything that you're afraid of. Now everything is left to the imagination. I wish I could just go to sleep and not worry about this, but I'm so anxious. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. It would be great if I could, because then the night just happens quickly. But I think I'm going to be up for a while.
Good morning, Tuesday, October 30th. I'm Pat Carroll.
And I'm Michael Wallace. We have this update sponsored by Prestige BMW. NYPD Commissioner Ray Kelly says his department's top priority right now is to rescue people.
People will be stranded. We understand that. That's what we're geared to do now. We'll search and find people who are still in their homes and try to get them out.
Sandy is blamed for at least 14 deaths now in the tri-state.
More than 50 homes have been destroyed by a fire that is still burning in Breezy Point, Queens.
More than 80% of Long Island has no power. We'll talk live with Hempstead Town Supervisor Kate Murray.
Mass transit may take a while to get back to normal. Buses could resume tomorrow, but subways may take a lot longer.
WCBS News Time, 8 o'clock.
On Long Island, LIPA reports 920,000 outages. That's 81% of all LIPA customers.
And with daylight's arrival, we are starting to get a better idea exactly what damage Sandy caused after coming ashore yesterday. We go live now to WCBS.
Checking out the backyard for the first time. Somehow I fell asleep. I didn't think I would. I was just too nervous, but I did. And now that it's daylight, we can actually take a look at some of the damage. Over here is some of the, there are 6 chairs here around this table. I couldn't fit them in our shed, so I managed to tie them down. I was really nervous about it. I didn't know if it was going to last. The whole night I was afraid this was going to fly into my house or maybe a neighbor's house. I mean, I was pretty sure it wouldn't, but I just, you know, you have that thought in your head. Oh no, so that was one of my worries. But everything here is fine. Over here we have an awning that was originally covering this. It was actually 3-dimensional and everything, but that fell down earlier. There's another awning that was tied down to these potted plants over there. But as you can see, wow, that really did not do well at all. But if there is any good news, if you look up into the sky, this is the first time since the storm started coming that there's actually some blue sky. A big portion of a tree fell down in my front yard. Looks like it came from right up here. So the tree came down, and here it is. Maybe one portion brought the other portion down. Thank God it missed the house. Big tree down here between my 2 neighbors' houses. The neighbors up the block didn't fare so great. They had a bunch of trees fall down right here, and you can look at the side of their house, and that's not so good. Big trees down there. Hi, Nathan.
You have to go on Facebook and post it.
Yes, this will be up there. And our neighbors over here can't get out of their driveway right now. And then if we look down this road over here, we're also stuck. Tree down over there. So right now, many of our escape routes are blocked, and we might be stuck right here. Scary stuff.
Send this to out of town people.
I got to do a little bit of work with the saw and a little clipper thing. looks like it did nothing. I actually worked about 2 hours on this. Here we are. It's been now over 24 hours. I believe this is now 25 hours since we lost power the second time. I tried to visit my Nana, who lives about 5 to 7 minutes away from here, and it took nearly 45 minutes to get there because everywhere you go, there are trees down on the road or power lines blocking the road. And it's just, you get somewhere, I mean, on the top of the hill, you have a tree down here and a tree over there, so you can't go that way. So you go that way, but you can't go that way, so you have to go that way. And then all these ways, and it's just very frustrating to drive, and you think you get somewhere, and you go and go and go, and you think you're going to be able to just kind of like go around, and then there's a tree there, and there's a tree there, and then you're not sure, wait, do I remember how to get back? I kind of don't remember where I am, but eventually I got there. My neighbor across the street, who has a gas stove, cooked some eggs for us this morning. Thank you, Vinny. And when I say us, I mean the neighbors next to my house came over with me. So it's cool seeing people and just kind of standing out here doing work. You see people walking around, surveying damage. I mentioned the one neighbor up the hill. Their house was hit by 3 trees pretty early on in the storm yesterday evening, and one of the trees created a pretty big hole in the corner or the side of their house. So I can't imagine going through a storm with a hole in my house. But luckily for them, you know, it's a spare bedroom. They were in there. There wasn't that much damage aside from the big hole, but there was no extra water damage. So it's not like the whole room was destroyed. It's just, I mean, there's a pretty big damage. But I mean, you can see daylight, but it's not terrible. And they had their trees chopped up for the most part today. But yeah, it's just been a day of recovery and, you know, listening to the radio, and now it's, you know, as we come up on 6 o'clock, it's starting to get dark. I can't wait for the power to get back. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. I'm out here because there's a hum of generators. There's at least one coming from my front yard. I hear one in my backyard. It's just an interesting sound. Also, the moon, which is almost full or just full, I think it might have been full a day or two ago. It's providing a lot of light right here, and it's just sort of nice. And when I took my dog out, you can't really see it, but it actually really lights up the outside. So when I took my dog out to do her business at night, it was pretty nice just having that light. This is now the 3rd morning without heat. Just checked the thermometer. My house is 58 degrees. It's kind of chilly. I'm wearing this because I'm heading out to work. Otherwise, I'd be wearing more of a sweatshirt kind of thing and sweatpants. It's getting cold here, and I hope this doesn't last much longer because it's a little bit cooler than normal outside. It's tough. But I'm walking around the house, listening to WCBS 880, just carrying this around with me wherever I go because I don't want to be without news, listening to Steve Scott and the rest of the great WCBS team. And it's just tough, and I hope this doesn't last forever. You know, during the daytime when the sun is out, not so bad, but it's getting chilly, and I'm not used to being this cold inside my house. Yes, 58 degrees, I've gone outside in it, but you always feel like you can go back inside and be warm, and now you can't really do that. It's tough. I'm sitting here at my uncle's house. I decided to give up. 72 hours without power, without heat. It was getting old. It was starting to be, you know, the mid-50s in my house. It was just too cold. I couldn't go through another night. So I came here. It's actually my first chance watching the news on TV. I've only been able to listen to it on the radio. This is my first time actually seeing any pictures. And as you can see, I also brought my dog with me right here at Ginger. So we're here, and we're checking out. We're here. We're finally with the warmth. We're with family. It's much better here. But I just can't believe that this is still going on. This is the 4th day after the storm. 97.5 plus hours since I lost power at home. I'm still at Uncle Eric's house. You can see the big news right now is that the New York City just canceled the marathon after lots of anger. My parents returned from New Orleans this evening, or this afternoon. They land at LaGuardia, and hopefully we get to go home soon. It'd be nice to go home tomorrow. It's great to be here at Uncle Eric's house. He's been great. It's been great being at a warm house. But at the same time, it's nice to have your own bed, your own stuff. And it has now been 6 days since the storm, and this is the 7th day my house in Huntington has no power. So I'm still here outside my uncle's house. Also, a lot of other people have it a lot worse, especially on the South Shore, Staten Island and Queens, Jersey Shore. It's tough for a lot of people, and I only have to worry about not having power. So I understand it's just a minor hardship compared to them, and I hope everyone gets to come back soon. It's the night before Election Day. Still no power at home. We lost power last Monday, so it has now been over 1 week since we had power at home. It's getting tiring. I don't even know what to say anymore. But as tiring as it is not having power, not being in my own home, it's frustrating hearing the governor, Andrew Cuomo, blame LIPA, because LIPA, of course, just doesn't want our money, and he thinks they could be doing a better job. Now, of course, it's a popular thing to say. When we don't have power, it's fun to blame a company like LIPA and say, hey, but at the same time, you have to suspend any kind of sense of reality to really think that LIPA was not trying their best. It was a devastating storm. It was probably the strongest storm and the biggest storm to hit this area in any kind of recent history. So, yes, it is frustrating that so many people, including myself, are without power and electricity 1 week later. But people have to realize that they themselves are not always a priority. They sort of have to look at the big picture. And when you drive around those streets and you still see those trees down, you still see power lines down, you have to realize that it's going to take a little while. But yes, it would be nice if my lights came back on now. Well, I just came back home for the first time since coming to my uncle's on Thursday a few days ago, and it's still dark in my house. And when I walk around inside, I breathe and I can see my breath. That shouldn't happen inside the house. So I just voted. I'm driving to work now, and I am in a lot of traffic. We're barely moving. I think I accidentally ended up in a gas line. But because I do have some extra time, I'm gonna wait this one out. Hopefully end up with some gas. I'm at a half tank right now, and we'll see what happens. I can't believe I'm actually in the gas line. I didn't think I'd actually do this. Thought I had enough gas. You know, it's here, I'm pretty close. Might as well do it. I don't know when I'm gonna get another chance. I've been waiting on this line for, I believe, 35 minutes. I'm near the front, but might be a few minutes late to work now. I'm next in line. This is really exciting. Just waiting for the signal to get up and go. I see probably 15 people with the gas containers. Some of them have 2 gas containers. And then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 cars pumping gas, but there's a few more around the corner. And here we go. I get to go. It's like I just won the lottery. I get to fill my car up with gas.
How are you?
Good, thanks. Fill it regular, please.
Regular, you got it.
Thank you. Wow. So after waiting 45 minutes, here we go, getting some gas. And it feels like Christmas. The guy at the gas station who pumped my gas was actually a store manager from another station, but he couldn't work because his station was closed. So he offered to work, or he was called in to work at the station I just went to, the Mobile. They got the shipment last night, and they got and they opened up at 5 a.m. and they've just been open since then, pumping gas. And he said he thought it'd be over by now too. It's snowing right now, pretty heavily. It's not sticking that much. Yes, so it started snowing last night, and it's still snowing now. It's not like we have a ton of accumulation. Well, we have a good amount. And this is on top of the hurricane that we had last week, where we still don't have any power at my house. I don't know if you heard about that. First a hurricane, and then a snowstorm.
The number is 866-227-0033. 36 now, brightening up a bit, humidity 64%. Waiting for the lights to come back on.
This is day 12 of having no power, and we're still here in Bethpage. This morning, gas rationing went into effect in New York City and on Long Island, Nassau and Suffolk counties. So that means, based on the last number of your license plate, even or odd, goes with even or odd days. But it seems like lines are shorter. I've seen reports of anywhere from an hour to maybe even 7 minutes just for gas. Imagine 7 minutes, that's supposed to be good. You know, in the old days, 2 weeks ago, you used to be able to just pull up and get gas whenever you wanted. And also, I saw a Newsday reporter tweet a picture from right near my house, and I tweeted him, and he tweeted me back. He said he saw crews on my street, so I kept calling, and every half hour or so, it's a little bit obsessive. Still no power. Still no power. This is day 12. I just checked Facebook. My friend Kelly, a few blocks away from me, posted almost 2 weeks with no power, and we finally got it back. Feels like Christmas. Called my house, and the phone is acting normally. I think we have power, and I think we're going back home now.
Oh my God!
Yay!
Pack up the ginge. Kiss the uncle.
It took an hour to pack up my uncle's house, took another half hour to get here. On day 12, with no power at my house, I'm about to open up my door. Here we go. Here comes the key. If I can only do this right. And here we are. The light was on when I got here. It feels great to be home when the power is on. It doesn't even feel that cold in my house. Maybe I'm just in shock. And of course, what do I see over here? The TV is on. Just as I left it, I was watching Hurricane Sandy coverage when this baby went out. And it feels great to be home.
Yay!
Welcome back home.
We're still moving in. It feels very good. We still have that smell of fresh tree in the air because of all the branches and twigs and trees that snapped. You can really smell it. It smells like upstate New York. I'm not even kidding. It's something I noticed the day after the storm, that Tuesday morning, and I still smell it now. Just one thing, it's really weird. You know, we have power. My next door neighbors right here have power. The house right next to them, but 3 doors down from me, they don't have power. The street light looks like it's on, but the house itself is not on. And my neighbor across the street also appears not to have power, but on this side of the street there is. So it's just a weird thing. Unfortunately, some houses have it, some houses don't. And just because the street light is on doesn't mean that house has anything. The house actually is cold. It's chilly. It's 63 degrees. It's warming up slowly, but it takes some time. So until then, I'm wearing my Brant-like sweatshirt and some sweatpants. It just amazes me that we still have all of these issues with all these trees down and all these lines down here on day 13. I can't believe we're still dealing with power outages on my street. Again, we're lucky to have it, but right here we still have a power line that's down, and you know, at least they cleared the tree. The tree was there for at least a week, but it's just kind of crazy to think that it's still going on. On the 14th day without power, my neighbors just got it back. So I feel good. I felt really guilty about having electric, but now they're here. I'm actually, as you can see, sitting in the road because we still have this tree in the road, taking up half a lane. It used to be blocking the entire street. Now it's blocking just the down side. But yep, the recovery is still going on. It's going to take a little while to get this tree out of the way. But I'm glad everyone's back online and we can begin to move forward.